Attention! All things shared in this video are simply the opinions of the Unexplained Files. The following footage is not tampered with, and all of the events and reactions are unplanned and genuine.
Good evening everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Unexplained Files. In this evening's video we're going to be checking out a video called The Enfield Hauntings with supposed real footage and EVPs. So I'll say we jump right into it.
So the Enfield haunting, the only reason I remember the year is because it was when I was born,
Yeah.
so 1977, and I forget what the lady's name was, Peggy Hodgson I think, who called the local police to her address because she started seeing objects moving and the kids could hear banging in the house, and then there began the legend of...
Yeah, and there have been movies made about the events of it, because the Conjuring, I don't know if it's all of the Conjuring films or whether it's one of them specifically,
I think
is based around the events of it. Because there was that, was it Lorraine and Kelly, Lorraine and who?
Ed Warren,
Yeah, that's the geezers, yeah. The two people who were like the paranormal investigators went down, and that's all part of that. So. And
the reason we remember this one as well is because this was literally like that 20-minute drive from where we lived, where you
grew up and where I was for the first 5 years or so of my life. That was where I was, so it's very close to what we know. But probably one of the biggest paranormal incidents documented in the UK. When you think of like paranormal happenings in the UK and the most well documented and well known, the Enfield haunting is one of them, if not probably one of the only ones.
Yeah, because I've seen stuff from it like from years ago, but I haven't seen anything recent.
Outside of the films, I've not really looked into or seen real footage or EVPs, or if I have, it's only like clips in passing. So it'll be interesting to see what we make of this video.
The Enfield haunting remains one of the most perplexing cases in the annals of paranormal activity. The Enfield haunting began in August 1977, when Peggy Hodgson, a single mother and her 4 children, experienced a range of inexplicable occurrences in their humble home, knocking sounds and furniture being thrown. Soon after, the haunting escalated, and it began to include the children's apparent levitation.
That picture just looked like she jumped, I have to say. Like,
I know there was a lot of talk about that it was faked and that.
Yeah.
When you see pictures like that,
it doesn't help the case, does it?
The events in Enfield soon attracted the attention of paranormal investigators and skeptics alike.
Are these the faces of paranormal investigators and skeptics? This is why YouTube needs us, because we aren't looking there like old men just... These are people, if they lived in today's day and age, they'd be doubly looking depressed with all the comments they'd be getting about terrible fakery.
Maurice Gross.
That is a glorious must.
Maurice was a member of the Society for Psychical Research. Gross documented the haunting extensively, capturing audio recordings of unexplained voices and witnessing furniture levitating in the presence of multiple witnesses.
All the lights gone out. Oh. Wait. Squeeze the light out.
Throw the lamp.
Hit me on the head.
Right way across the room.
Hit me on the head.
What a comment, isn't it?
That to me didn't seem like distressed children. That sounds like the sort of thing you hear at sleepovers, just shit being thrown about and people laughing and giggling. Yeah, but no, they do have the very stereotypical like Oliver Twist sounding like, hit me on the head.
Was pulled from the socket 3 times after that. Then, after a period of watching and waiting, something even stranger happened.
Who's that shaking the door? Oh. What's on there? Mum's laugh. Where is it? Oh! What's that?
The slipper was thrown across the room, it hit the door
not my one.
as I was holding the door.
Not my one.
That's just like there's nothing you can see. Like
No.
one of the kids could have just been like,
Like,
phew.
the camera that was pointing it in might as well not even have been there
Yeah,
at this
and
point. And the thing is the kids don't in any way seem distressed. It seems like they're all having fun. Like, this is something entertaining that's happening. That they're excited that like news reporters and people are coming to investigate around them. And another thing as well is like, if this is a fake, kids would, if a mum is sort of like, I don't want to say the word groomed, but if a mother has brought her kids in to do something like this because it's fun or because there's rewards for doing it or because they get paid and that means they get more, you could quite easily like get kids with their imagination to go along with something like this. So I think looking at the reaction of the kids and how distressed they apparently were, I don't think that's something very credible. I would love to sit with the mother and say, you know, when did this start? How does this happen? And then separately sit down with the kids and say, what were your experiences? When did this start? And see if the events match up.
Yeah, like, cause I'm not sure what happened with the police, but I know it started that she called the police to come round because she saw like furniture moving in her house and stuff like that. So that's one thing that makes me question, because if you're going to fake something, surely you're not going to call the police to come round.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't, if I was in a situation where like I actually saw something in front of me, just vroom, I'd be freaked out, but my instinct wouldn't be call the police. But it depends what level it gets to. If it, like the way that they're saying it here is things were like levitating and floating, at that point I don't know what I would do or who I would call. I mean,
the police ain't gonna help.
Yeah, the police. In today's day and age, granted we've got phones and things like that, but no one will believe it because it could be so easily faked, which, you know, is some of the issues that these lot have still deal with. But it is intriguing. Like, those kids did not sound distressed to me. They sound like they were having a great time.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, I'm sure the family got paid a lot of money to have people come and visit and investigate, so there is financial gain towards it, so I don't know if that influences it.
Like I was just saying to Ryan, they must, because I looked it up on Google Maps, the place, and a lot of people must look for it because they've, if you can see, they've blurred out the building, the actual house on Google Maps. So.
Well, I can't imagine it's the same family that lived there now, so they probably just want a bit of peace and quiet.
Privacy,
yeah. And there's not been anything since in the location that I've heard of. And if it was a poltergeist, you know, the traditional sense, if you just, let's just say, for example, it was true, right? Surely events like this would have happened both before and after.
But I know sometimes they say like poltergeist activity is attracted by like teenagers and stuff.
Right.
So
Maybe.
Whether that was the case,
yeah,
I don't know. But
I love the idea that one day, like she said, things have been moving around. It's just the kids fucking about, kicking furniture around. They don't want to get in trouble, and this has just gone way too far. Now they're throwing fucking shoes at an old man behind the door.
The white slipper hit the door as I was holding the door.
why don't the dude filming turn around so you can see what's going on?
The other one's over here.
What sort of a case is this in your experience?
Well, I think this is probably the best case this century. In fact, as far as documentation is concerned, it may be the best case of all time.
What special?
We don't even know who threw the shoe. It can't be that well documented.
Well, the entity itself has been very, very violent at times, and of course the witnesses and the documentation have been excellent. The violent things I've seen happen are the furniture moving, the furniture being thrown upside down. In fact, one night I was standing here, there were about 11 or 12 people in the room, and I was standing talking to one of the members of the family, and in front of the settee, and the settee went straight up in the air and turned upside down.
Unfortunately, we weren't filming at that time.
Yeah, it looked exactly like that.
Knock. 1 for no and 2 for yes. Are you
Getting a most
male
haunted
spirit?
vibe.
Yeah.
1 for no and 2 for yes?
You're a poltergeist. Can you whistle back for me?
You are a male spirit. Did you used to live in this house? You did. Was it?
The geezer filming this is shit. He should be
Yeah.
looking at the people that are in there so
Yeah.
we can see if anyone's doing anything they shouldn't be.
Are you having a game with me? Oh,
Oh,
right.
come on.
As I asked the
Now, is this supposed to be like a dramatic recreation of the events? Because I'm looking at this and going, you cannot be serious, and like this was
And
ever
the thing
taken
is, I keep
seriously.
hearing the girls and that, but I've not ever seen. Where
them.
are they?
Yeah,
Like,
they've basically just passed him a box, and he's been had a box thrown in.
One of the most compelling pieces of evidence in the Enfield haunting was the audio recordings of unexplained voices. These recordings, taken by Maurice Gross, captured chilling interactions between investigators and seemingly supernatural entities.
I then, as I said on the tape here, I then said to it, if you can whistle and bark and groan, then you can talk. And I asked it to actually say my name.
Well, just a minute. We'll try again. I want you to call out my name. My complete name. Maurice Gross. Come on, my name's Maurice. Let me hear you say it. Maurice.
Now that was the first time.
imagine
we
carrying
heard
that
the
fucking
voice.
thing around with you when you want to record
That'd be
EVPs.
hefty, wouldn't it? Now, I remember from watching the film, they recreated this scene, or supposedly when it was being recorded, and it was supposedly the girl that was being spoken through, one of the young girls
was it?
that this was coming through. I don't know if that was supposedly what happened in the actual events, but the problem is it's just like recorded on tape. We've no visual evidence of what this is, where it's coming from, what the logic is behind it. Like,
if they're recording with the video before, why don't they do that as well as recording with the audio so you
and
can
as
see
well,
what's
like
going on?
this is the supposed tape of it happening in the moment, but it's been edited because we hear him voicing it over earlier on the tape. He says, "As I'm saying in the tape," that to me sounds like at a later point he's gone back and like voiced over it. If that's the case, just for this recording here, we've heard it recorded like at the time, and then edited for him to voice over, and then through this camera as well. So this is like 3 steps removed from the original recording. We don't know, like, was this supposedly supposed to be them recording to an empty room, or is it the girl sat there and this is apparently coming from her? And why the fuck is it barking?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
what sort of spirit is this supposed to be? It barks and then it just goes, Maurice. Like,
And it weren't even that clear.
no, it could have just been, it sounds like a dog being sick, to be honest.
The relentless onslaught of paranormal activity took a significant toll on the family.
You know, if we went there, we wouldn't see anything.
You get there and the house is blurred out in real life.
Constant fear. Meanwhile, experts and skeptics debated whether the haunting was a genuine paranormal phenomenon or a manifestation of deep psychological distress within the family. As with any paranormal case, the Enfield haunting attracted skeptics who sought to debunk the events. Ultimately, skeptics argued that the haunting was just a manifestation of collective hysteria. Despite the passing of time, the Enfield haunting continues to intrigue paranormal enthusiasts.
But never at any point did I hear the kids sound like they were distressed.
No.
And if this was an issue where there was concern about like hysteria or problems within the family, why were there not like psychological professionals involved? Why were there not anyone to do with health involved? I know in the 70s, or late 70s, care for like mental health and what that wasn't what it is today.
No.
But you know, there was still welfare for like children especially. Why was it not evaluated what their living conditions were like and how they were being treated by the mother? Or if that is the case, why has that not been talked about, or why is it never spoken about? It's like that part seems to be just sort of thrown to the wayside. Another thing as well, like if this mother's called the police, she's just got some random bloke who claims he's a paranormal investigator in the house with the kids, grabbing hold of them and all this stuff. It's just a weird set of events.
The Enfield haunting stands as a testament to the enduring fascination and mystery surrounding paranormal phenomena. And while skeptics and believers continue to clash over the authenticity of the events, the case challenges our understanding of the boundaries between the physical and spiritual realms. Whether the Enfield haunting was a genuine supernatural occurrence or an elaborate hoax, it remains an enduring and perplexing enigma in the realm of the paranormal.
This was a very well put together video as well.
Yeah, it was
I like
good.
This, actually. Yeah, you guys, I'll put a link in the description to this video. Go check out the creator and watch the video for yourself so we can support everyone that we react to. We don't want to take advantage of it, and this was pretty good.
Yeah, the actual haunting itself, though, I'm not convinced about.
No. I wonder if there's more evidence, specifically, like more pictures and recordings, or whether it... I might try and see if I can find something, and if there is, we can throw it up there, because I feel like I've heard of there being more recordings. It very much seems like let's capitalise on this, like, series of events. It's not so much that there are real things happening, it's more like it's a media phenomenon at the time, and so let's get a quirky investigator in and let's bring news people round and really capitalise on this moment.
And it just seems weird, especially that bit where the dude's filming and he's zoomed right into the geezer at the door, and then the shoe flies.
Yeah.
If I was sitting in a room filming and then a shoe come flying from my feet, I'd be like, what the... I'd be looking out. I wouldn't just stay looking at the geezer.
And also, like, you know he's going to go out the door. Why are you going to zoom tighter in on the door? You want to see all of the surroundings. I get you want to get the shot of him going out, but why such a closed-in shot? And another thing, like, the things that were always thrown were always out of frame, into frame.
Right.
Which just seemed... And the kids were always, like you mentioned earlier, the kids were in the shot, in the room, yet never actually in shot. They were there, always behind the camera. When you hear the voice and it's speaking and it's starting to bark and say names, in the film it was depicted as the girl sitting there and the voice coming through her. Is that what they're saying actually happened, or were they just filming, recording into an empty room, or how did that work? That's what I wish we could find more on. This picture I don't take seriously, because she's just leapt off the bed, like.
Yeah. Right, shall we listen to this and see?
Yeah.
Let me hear you say my name. Come on, let me hear you say my name. That's not my name. Come on, my name's Morris. Let me hear you say it. Morris.
Norris.
Say Dr. Belloc. Come on, let me hear you say that. Come on, let's hear you say Dr. Belloc. Could you close that door down? Say Dr. Belloc. What is it?
Could be him doing that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they've got these pictures. Why is there no pictures of this when this recording happened?
Why? Yeah, why did they not film when they're doing this?
Yeah, or if, like, you know, if they didn't have the capacity to film,
Well, he was
why not
filmed
even
the
pictures?
other time. So.
Well, yeah, but that, I don't know if that was like an outside news sort of people coming in. But this, like, they've got a lot of these pictures, so why is there nothing of the sort of that? I mean, don't get me wrong, the voice is weird, but without knowing who it's coming from, I can't really take it seriously. Like, if this was coming from a 9-year-old girl, fair enough, I'd be like, what the fuck? But it could just be fucking Morris himself giving it a go.
Yeah.
We all like a gang and go to the pub, and then we thought we'd pick your house, because I used to live here. And I will tell you some more, and if you don't tell anyone else, just take Mr. Hook and Mr. Playback.
I want you to tell me whether you remember...
Where's Morris gone? This ain't him.
When you died.
This ain't Morris's voice. Where has he gone?
No.
Just before you died and just after you died.
And it's like you said, is this like coming from one of the girls? Because otherwise this voice is just coming out of thin air.
Well,
It's like,
yeah. Which, still, interesting, but, like, who's doing it? You know what I mean? Where's the proof of who this is? We heard in the first couple of recordings where it fucking went, Morris. There's multiple people in the room, because you hear, there's a woman, I don't know if it would be the mother, but there was a woman who said something, like, in the background. Morris is there, and then another bloke says something to him. So there's multiple men in the room, for one, and a woman in the room, any of whom could be putting this on. And there's no way to know. I'm actually kind of surprised, like, going over this and all the evidence, how little compelling to me evidence there actually is for this to have been taken so seriously. I would have thought that we would have got into this and there would have been more of it. I'm actually quite surprised at the lack of like I say, compelling evidence.
Yeah, the way it was done and all, it don't seem very professional, I suppose.
No, not at all.
What would you call it?
And like, you know, let's look at this picture here. Like even the position she is in is like she's jumped. If you've been picked up and thrown out of bed, why are you stood bolt upright? Would you not be laying down and like horizontal or anything? It's like she's just gone boing. Everything about it is like she's jumped. Like that, I have not seen a single piece of evidence or anything recorded that's made me go, maybe that. Like, I can't even comprehend why this is what it is.
Bill, if you're there, would you answer me the following question? What have you done with Denise's 30p?
Headed down to the radio, downstairs.
Sorry, Bill, can you say that again, please?
Headed down to the radio, downstairs.
Nick 30p and put it on the radio. Is that what they say?
Bill, I'll go and look. Thanks ever so much.
Cheers, mate. I needed
Why
that.
can't Janet feel you?
Probably get a lot with 30p.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm invisible.
You're invisible? Why are you invisible?
Because I'm a ghost.
So much G-H-O-S-T.
Why's he got to spell it?
Well, I get that back in that day it might have been harder to get older camera equipment and that. And
well,
obviously
absolutely.
a lot bigger than what we've got nowadays.
But wouldn't you have thought if you were doing like, you know, you knew, I don't know at what point news outside media got involved with this whole like situation. I feel like the way that Morris guy was telling it in the last video, he recorded this and all of these recordings happened before media got involved, so cameras aren't involved. But if you're like documenting this and this much evidence is taking place, wouldn't you have thought you would have taken pictures of how the setup looked? If you couldn't like film the whole thing, I would have thought, well, if the chair's over there and the beds are here and this is how the room is set up, I'm going to take a picture of where I'm recording from, who's in the room with me, because I feel like there have been incidents in the past where other things have happened and they take pictures for references and just to show what it was like and to document it. If you don't have a camera to film, then at least take pictures. They're taking pictures here, but nothing of this room and where it took place. This is a spectacle where you can capture as much as you can to keep the illusion and the spectacle going, but any person who was thinking or coming from the mindset of, I need to document this, all of that logic is thrown out the window, but anything that seems compelling and would sell as a newspaper headline is what's there.
I get people like grab onto it because it's like scary and like...
And where it happened as well, like it's just a common house. It could be anyone. So people can relate to it.
If you ever sat and just watched what we have, you'd be like, that's bollocks.
Oh, is that it? Well, if you think about it, if their intention was to fake it and what they were thinking of was capturing exactly what was needed to be a media sensation, they managed it. Because we're still here now, like looking into this. But
47 years later.
Yeah, I am quite surprised that there's nothing more compelling like that. And maybe there's more pictures, but part of me wants to just deep dive and look for more evidence, but maybe this is the best of what they've got, to be honest. Oh, original scenes.
These teenage sisters believe they're haunted by a poltergeist.
I was going to ask the same question as I asked earlier. How many voices are there?
600.
600 the voices.
I know the joke.
How many really are there, Margaret?
I think so far we've had 10.
3.
I like the way that this is apparently that little girl was making that voice and she's just gone...
I couldn't even tell if that girl's mouth was
No,
moving.
it wasn't. That's what I was
like...
looking for. But it doesn't look like it is, but... She's just gone, what?
But the rest of the names are absolute rubbish.
Let's go. go. BBC needs to step their game back up. This is what it was.
11-year-old Janet Hodgson appears to be the focus of many of the strange happenings in Green Street. But they also affect her 14-year-old sister, Margaret, and their younger brother, Billy. One of the first manifestations was when Lego bricks began to fly at high speed around the living room.
How does it feel to be haunted by a poltergeist?
It's not haunted.
It's what?
Why isn't it haunted?
It's not haunting.
Does it frighten you, the things that happen here?
Oh, well, it did first, but now I've got more used to it. And you learn to accept the things that happen. It slung a cover.
I love their accents, and people just don't talk like this anymore.
Slung a bookshelf at my ear.
Have you tried telling it to go away?
Yes, many times. Nothing.
The local police could find no explanation for the knocking either. They were even more baffled when two of their beat constables reported seeing an armchair levitate across the Hodgsons' living room.
First of all, if you heard knocking and that and you thinking ghost and that, you'd get someone to inspect the house, like to rule out anything.
Definitely. And another thing as well, you know, knocking, what's the possible causes of that? Ghost is probably, let's put that way far down the list. First, let's check the fucking next door neighbours and see what's going on there. Then let's put everyone in a room and watch their hands and feet and make sure they're not doing it. Then it could be a pipe or any other number of things. And so if the house is surveyed, it's fine. The neighbours aren't being twats. There's no one else doing anything. Like, then you can maybe start going down that avenue. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot more things the police could be doing than seeing while there's knocking in the house. And another thing, I'm not going to talk about whether I think the police are trustworthy nowadays. They fucking weren't in the 70s.
It came off the floor, or maybe a half-inch, I should say.
Look at the chops on that guy.
Slide off to the right, about 3.5 to 4 feet before it came to rest. I checked to see whether or not it could possibly have slid along the floor. I placed a marble on the floor to see whether or not the marble would go in the same direction as the chair did.
Right, well, if that's the case and you did that, where's the reports? Where's the documentation of anything? Like, you were called out, you've gone there, you've apparently seen things levitating, which you wouldn't just go, oh, all right, I'll stick a marble on the floor just to check. Like, you've not taken pictures, there's no documents, there's no official, like, this happened.
There must be, like, an official police report from there.
I would imagine so, and I'd hope that that was mentioned in it. Do things like police reports get put out into, like, the public space after a while?
I'd imagine.
Right, public domain, because usually things like this go into the public domain after so many years. So I searched on the police reports. There's nothing. I looked into that just now. There was nothing about like police reports or anything. The only thing it brings up is that there's the psychical research like society, whatever that was going on. That's the only official body, if you will, that seemed to be involved with it. But if they had sent police officers out, I don't know what procedure was like in the 70s. But I would imagine there would be some documents to say we were called out to this house and there were events that happened and we did need to check things. That was all. Like, and then nothing came of it because there was no police presence after the fact. Because if things are floating about, you really think the police are just going to go, oh, that's weird, and then go and never follow it up again. And if people are like, you know, people are coming and interviewing them, maybe they're going to think, oh, maybe there is something to this.
I don't know what they'd do anyway. If police were there and witnessed it, then
I think at very least they'd hang about and see what was going on. There's no mention of where the voice is coming from.
No.
The barking here is quite extraordinary, actually.
And I mean, when you hear a voice in like a place that you think's haunted, what's the first thing that you focus on? Where did it come from?
Well, yeah.
Like, because if it doesn't come from nowhere, the fact that makes it, oh, we heard a voice, but there was no one there. So the focus is always who and where did the voice come from, and that's the one fact they've left out.
Yeah, if you were sitting in a room, you'd have a general idea.
Feel where it was coming from.
Unless it just filled the whole room.
Yeah, and even if it did that, it would be evident or it would be poignant the fact that it came from no one, and it was just happening. Another thing as well, everyone else in this recording, you hear the girls and you hear like other things as well. They sound really far away. There's two things that sound right up by the mic. Morris and Morris. So, you know.
What about the voices? When did the voices start?
December.
Sorry, what? December the 12th.
Yes.
And how did they start?
Well, one night Mr. Grove was talking about 8:30. He said, all we need now is the voices to talk. And that night I went to bed and can't remember exactly what happened.
I don't know, you're not filming it.
Yeah, can hear it now.
She mentioned it never happened before Morris mentioned it. Funny that. We didn't have that idea yet.
That's because Morris ain't there.
Yeah. Morris is popping down the shops with a 30p that was hid under a radio. And Morris is behind the chair. Morris is behind the chair. Morris!
Is it like Professor Quirrell? Was that from...
Yeah. It's like take me down to the Philosopher's Stone. Kids that are like going through potential like scary situations, their fear is very palpable. You can see it, you can sense it in them, you know it in them. They're not, there's none of like, they're just like laughing, grinning, smiling. And also, if there's two sisters that are both experiencing voices, get them fucking checked. There's something that shouldn't be happening that is. And whether Morris is encouraging it or not, this ain't good. But the voice thing, whenever you hear the voice speaking, it always seems to be exactly by the recording equipment. And the one who always brings the recording equipment is Morris. So I'm not too, I'm surprised this has actually been so prevalent in the paranormal world for so long, because I'm looking at this going, what the fuck? This is a load of shit. But then in saying that, you know, when we heard the growl at fucking Chapelwood, that was right in the camera mic. Maybe that was Morris and all.
Yeah, is
Morris
passed on? He might have been there.
Oh god. I mean, at least if he did it now, it'd be more convincing that it was an actual ghost rather than whatever was going on here. Well, I think I've seen enough of that. Right.
Alright guys, I think we're going to wrap that one up. Let us know what you thought in the comments, because
we clearly think it's an absolute fucking shambles of a situation. I think next time we should look at 30 East Drive and see if that's a bit more compelling.
We're going to have to go on to music reactions or something. There's too much this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, at least 30 East Drive have got cool pictures and stuff and things that have kicked off, rather than kids jumping off beds and that, and Morris kicking off. But yeah, anyway, what do you think of this, guys? Do you, you know, if you've been into the paranormal for a long time, have you heard of the Enfield hauntings and the poltergeist situation that apparently happened there? What's your thoughts on it? Have you seen any of the evidence that compels you? Because I think it's safe to say we're less than convinced, and I'm actually quite shocked we have the evidence that we do. But nonetheless, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any more hauntings and famous incidences of paranormal activity that you want us to take a look at, feel free to leave that in the comments below. I'm going to stick an iCard at the top there so you can check out some more of our playlists. We have our Reacts playlist where we do things like this. We take a look at paranormal happenings and give our opinions of the situation. Our last Reacts was on the paranormal hauntings of Josiah Worley, another situation that has received a fair bit of, not criticism, but it's been debunked by a few people and some people are convinced. But I would say, funnily enough, I'm more intrigued by the Josiah Worley hauntings than what happened here. We also reacted to most haunted and best moments, and some of our best moments too. We have our best moments from our paranormal investigations, which you can take a look at, because I'll stick another iCard up there. We also have our case files playlist where we take a look at cryptids and other incidents. I was going to do a case file on this, but now I'm kind of reconsidering. Maybe we'll do that, who knows. And with all that said, we hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening. Thank you for watching. Peace. Morris!